Hello to you. I'm Jesse Johnson. This is about star travel and galactic travel, the Johnson Rail, Johnson Spool, and light years do not exist. Many still dream of star travel and galactic travel. I accepted the heliocentric model years ago, which in fact turned out to be 95% false and a religion, as all other religious cosmologies. I thought up two methods to get to the Centauri star system at 4.2 light years away. The problem is, light years don't exist. Not in the small universe we humans actually live in. Somewhere else, maybe. Space in the heliocentric religious sense is a vast void with no force to hinder or accelerate anything. Those still accepting the heliocentric religion model, you're in for a very unpleasant surprise. Why? Light years don't exist. I'm going to show the only two classical physics ways of getting to the Centauri star system, as if the heliocentric model were true, of which it's not, and do it as if light years existed. The first law of proof: it takes only 1 point to prove or disprove a thing. You never need more than 1 point. There are two ways a thing can appear small to us. One, it's smaller than our physical body. Number two, if the thing is far or very far away in distance. Now, we have different types of microscopes and different types of telescopes, each one a magnifying system. Microscopes for small things and telescopes for far away things, each with its own powers and limits. An example, you're able to see a dime, penny, or a quarter with your eyes if that coin were reduced in physical size 500 times or to 500x. Would you see it? No. Too small now. Now, how about 1000x or 2000x? No. X means times. What about a hot blowtorch light core flame reduced to 500x or 1000x, etc.? No, you wouldn't see it. As bright and blinding as that small bright core is, you, me, and billions of people, past and present, have been taught constantly by every means that the sun is 93 million miles away from the earth. Taught this for over a century. Now, that you can see stars light years away also. Now, a light year is 6 trillion miles. That's Trillion. A light year is 6 trillion miles in distance. 93 million divided into 1 billion is 10.75. There are 1,000 billions in 1 trillion, so that 10.75 times 1,000 equals 10,750x magnification. It is an utter impossible to see anything that far away and that small with the unaided or naked eyes. At 10,750x magnification, no matter how big or bright the thing may be, it cannot be seen with the naked eyes, and that's only 1 trillion miles away. What to say of 1 light year? A light year is 6 trillion miles in length. So that 10,750x times 6 equals 64,500x magnification at 1 light year away. The Centauri star system is 4.2 light years away, so that 64,500 times 4.2 equals 207,900x magnification to see the Centauri star system from Earth. You are told you can see this with the naked eyes, small telescopes and binoculars. You are taught that you can see the Andromeda galaxy at 2.2 million light years away with your naked eyes, which in fact takes 143 billion, that's with a B, billion X magnifying power to in fact see from Earth. Once again, light years do not exist. The distance of a light year do not exist in our small, real universe we inhabit. Maybe somewhere else, but not here. Hold on, please. We are taught from childhood this monstrous heliocentric lie, and we believe it our whole life. We live lives of lies and built on lies. What I thought up about 10 years ago was based on the existence of light years. We're told stars are light years away. They're not. The real universe we humans inhabit, with the Earth as center, is about 10 to 20 million miles in all directions, as far as I can tell. Not light years in all directions. Consider these simple classical physical principles. A. It takes force and or energy to accelerate mass. B. The larger the mass to be accelerated, the larger the amount of force and or energy needed. C. The smaller and smaller the mass, with greater and greater force and or energy invested to accelerate that mass, the faster and faster that mass will go. As a rule of thumb, 15% of light speed and lower are non-relativistic speeds. 15% of light speed is 27,900 miles a second. Now, at 25,000 miles a second, it takes 36 to 37 years to reach Centaurus star system at 4.2 light years from Earth in the heliocentric religion universe model. Now to continue. Now, using 2 milligrams of mass, roughly about the mass of 2 grains of salt as a base, takes about 3.5 to 4 horsepower gross amount of energy to accelerate up to 25,000 miles a second. Using 1/2 mass times velocity squared, that's 1/2 mv squared, to find the energy amount needed. To accelerate 2 to 20 milligrams takes 3 to 175 horsepower gross, respectively. The first system is called, that I'll be explaining to you, describing to you, is called the Johnson Rail, and was structured by, number 1, putting a special 2 milligram magnetic projectile on a special magnetic levitation track rail 100,000 miles to 500,000 miles long, straight and linear. The idea came from miniaturizing a magnetically levitated train. This took about several minutes to complete. The track rail is 1/1000th of an inch square. Number 2, the track rail is folded every 100 feet. When completely folded, will be about 8 feet by 8 feet by 100 feet compact and connected with the smallest electrical capacitors. There are about 2 to 4 of these these rectangular shaped systems to be unfolded and connected in the void of space. Number 3, the system is to be put up in about 3 to 6 steps. Number 4, connected to the track rail is the energy supply, which were the smallest known capacitors at the time, and 1 per every 1 to 5 inches, and its microcontrols along the length of the track rail. Number 5, the total system is cooled, C-O-O-L-E-D, cooled down to minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit to reduce heat and energy wastage. Number 6, the system is put about 1 million miles from Earth. Once in place, step by step, it is unfolded, straightened out, connected in all forms, and the process initiated. Number 7, the projectile and payload are one and the same. At 25,000 miles a second, it takes about 1.2 million years to reach the large Magellanic Cloud galaxy in the heliocentric universe at about 160,000 light years away. If and only if the heliocentric universe were true. It's not true. Why? Light years don't exist. Not in the real universe where we live. The system described is the Johnson Rail. Now, to accelerate a larger mass as a payload takes more force and or energy. It took me about 7 to 10 seconds to find an answer. A spool of thread. In other words, the Johnson spool. aka the Johnson Reel. That's R-E-E-L. The Johnson Reel spool was to accelerate a much larger payload of 1.5 kilograms of mass, 25,000 miles a second, compared to 2 milligrams of mass. It took me about 7 to 10 seconds to figure out how the Johnson spool was to operate. Hold on, please. Now, the answer of this was a spool of thread. It took about several minutes to figure out the Johnson Rail, and the answer for the Johnson Rail was miniaturize the BART subway system to a few milligrams and lengthen the track, and then turn it into a maglev type train, levitated type train. Then do all of the necessary details after figuring out the basics. Hold on, please. Now, to continue, all of the methods, all of them from rocketry of every type to solar sails, all of it, thought of by human beings since 1940 for star and galactic travel, cannot not work if the heliocentric religion model of the universe were correct, of which it isn't. Why? Number one, light years don't exist. Number two, using too much mass to be accelerated. With the Johnson Spool-Reel, just like with a spool of thread, a solid long fuse is used. A very long fuse divided into small segments to produce 400 joules per segment of thrust force from the energy per second. Each segment accelerates the total system 2 inches per second, or per second squared. There are 1.5 billion inches in 25,000 miles, divided by 2 halves for the total system. The total system is 100,000 kilograms, or 220,000 pounds, or 100 tons. Each half is 50 tons. Now, it takes 400 joules of energy to accelerate this mass 1 inch in the void of heliocentric type space, and each half of the total system had 760 million inches of solid fuel fuse, 800 joules to accelerate it 2 inches a second squared, adding 2 inches more of acceleration per second. Starting from 0 until 25,000 miles a second is reached in approximately 24 years, going to the Centauri star system and reaching it in about 60 years total. Each small explosion gives off heat and light, which is turned into electricity to run the whole system. The system is the Johnson spool and is 99.8% fuel and 0.2% rocketry and payload. Now, I would like to please ask you to subscribe, and more so than this, share this video, and I want everyone to have the best. Please have a good day.